is great. We're live.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Live the Book.
Oh, here we are.
We're excited to chat. Excited to echo. All right. Are we all set? Everybody's got their screens up.
We are ready to go.
Guys, I was so excited for tonight.
I know,
I
right?
really was.
Why were you
Because
excited?
I haven't seen you guys in like a full week.
A full week.
It was a
We
lot.
have not had any time together in a full
week.
Which means that, you know what's happening? Summer is coming to an end.
Yes.
We have less time to just get together and have happy hour. We have to schedule it. What did we do last week? Oh,
Well, it was my birthday.
That's right.
that's
It was
right.
my birthday. I turned a complete 45.
Totally.
45.
As opposed to an incomplete 45?
Or halfway.
Yes, a half birthday.
So it's so nice because Daria is July 11th,
Yeah.
7/11, and then Danielle is August 12th.
Yes.
Although I'm all the way in October, so we have a couple of months to just like chill, and
Yes,
then we celebrate again.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had this great dinner last Thursday.
We did.
We closed the restaurant, no
We
shock,
sure did.
and we definitely
No
met
shock.
at
Mhm.
6:30.
They didn't try to rush us out.
No,
I
they
think
were very
were having
nice.
a very good time.
Yeah, we met at 6:30 though. Everyone, we left at I want to say 10:30.
Yeah.
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 And what time did they close? 10?
I think they definitely closed at 10. The light that says open, it was off when we were leaving.
Yeah, it was.
So,
It was.
yeah, it was a good time, and the food was delicious.
The food was so good.
Yeah,
Yes. It
yeah.
was so good.
But this weekend, I'm back on my
Yes,
health
yes.
life because summer is coming to an end.
Absolutely,
It is,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't party forever, guys.
No.
Like,
No, we can't.
We
But
can't?
well, we have 2 more weekends though. 2 more weekends before we got to call
Labor
it
Day.
quits.
Labor Day. is
So
coming.
what's happening this weekend? Anything fun?
this
Anything?
weekend.
Oh, I have plans.
Oh.
I have plans. I'm going to
Okay.
the Little League World Series Championship Games, annual tradition. And so we'll get to see 4 great games. The kids are just, they give their hearts to that game.
Yeah.
And,
Aw.
it's just, it's a great time. It's a great
Nice.
time.
So that's the weekend.
That's the weekend.
Excellent, Danielle.
Well, my memory's not serving me well. Tomorrow, I believe we're going to get pedicures.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then I think Saturday we're going to the beach.
Very nice.
And then Sunday I'm visiting a new church. Yes, a new
Okay.
church. And then Sunday evening, I think Kaia leaves. My baby girl leaves for her peer leadership retreat.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that might be in noon. So sometime that day I'm gonna be waving my baby girl goodbye.
And then your son, you took him back to college.
I did take him back to college. Well, he's been back to college,
Right,
but
right.
he's in RA,
so
so he had to go back early. But he did come home this week. I took him to the doctor's appointment. He's very healthy. Everything was very good.
Good.
He, has a little asthma. We had to get a little asthma treatment plan, but he's doing really well.
Good.
And so Kenny is back. He moved his residence in. He's
Wow.
so excited. He's like,
I was an RA for 3 years. I absolutely think residence life, student life at college is like
yeah.
the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a big responsibility.
It is a
It
big
can be fun, too.
responsibility.
it was a big responsibility, and I had so much fun.
Oh,
So I'm so
I
proud
know
of
you did.
him.
You have the same personality as him. I don't have that personality.
Yeah,
so
no,
I
we
never
do. We're
applied.
kindred spirits. Yeah.
Yes,
So it's going to be
yes.
amazing for him. Well, this weekend we have a birthday party,
Max
family
is right.
birthday party. So that'll be fun on Saturday. Sunday, I'm going to go to the movies. So I don't know if any of you have read The Art of Racing in the Rain. I have. The movie's out, so it's definitely want to see it. I read the book a while ago, so I'm excited about that. And I think I'm going to get some sun too, because the weather's supposed to be like,
Oh, is it?
yeah, it's supposed
Oh,
to be another
good.
great
Good
weekend.
to know.
And I feel like my tan is fading. So
Well,
lay out.
you can't, I would probably go to the swim club or maybe hit the beach. The great thing about New Jersey is that we're just so close.
We are. In the middle of
definitely use
everything.
sunscreen.
45.
I'm starting to see aging,
Aging
problems.
spots?
Not
Yeah.
spots, just aging. I don't look 25 anymore, so I'm starting to take care of the skin.
I
Take care
can
of the
It's
understand
skin.
that.
important. That is
It
important.
is.
It
And
is.
you are the big
45. Yes, I'm putting on all of my creams.
Yeah.
All of the creams.
all your jams and jellies.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything. Budget blown. I spent $200 on skin creams. So
Well, we need it though. We need it to
let me know if
preserve.
you guys see a change. And I do celery now. Just just for the skin?
Oh my goodness. So I tried it.
Okay.
The celery juice.
Celery juice.
Well, okay, I don't have a Vitamix or any of the magic bullets or anything, but I have a blender.
Oh,
So my
that's how Lisa
youngest
does
son
it.
and I, we tried it yesterday morning.
Isn't it stringy though?
It was so stringy. We strained it. I was not successful, but I figured out how to make improvements.
Hi, Elisa.
Hi, Elisa.
Oh, hi, Lisa. Wait,
Hi,
there's
Alana.
Alana. Hi, Alana.
Yes.
Hi, Cassandra.
Hello.
And Alana was an RA.
Oh, Alana, I can see that totally.
Elisa, I'm telling them about all the crazy things you told me to do. The celery juice, the skin cream.
Elisa, I tried the celery juice. I'm gonna get better at it because I'm using a
I can't
blender.
swallow strings in my
Go
drink.
Barbara, though.
Yeah.
She told you I wear sunscreen. For real, I'm
Oh.
starting to see aging like in my eyes.
And you know what, Alana, your mom has great skin. You know your mom has great
She
skin.
does. But
I
she's
took some
always
pictures of
trying
her.
new products every week.
I like that
every
about
week.
Everyone looks gorgeous. Thanks, Elisa.
Oh, thank you, Elisa. It's 9:00. You know it's getting
But
close to
she's the one
bedtime.
talking about the celery juice thing. It's
Oh
the
well,
thing.
Elisa, I tried it. I'm gonna try it again. Corbin and I tried it yesterday. We were partially successful.
What made you not successful? 16 ounces?
One.
You have
and
to drink
it-
16 ounces.
16
Yes.
ounces of juice and,
and
it has to be
Elisa,
organic.
yeah,
no.
and it wasn't organic because I didn't buy it, but I did wash it very well because I saw on all the
It's
articles.
splash vinegar on it.
Yes, so we had apple cider vinegar. I did see that, but I needed to strain it more.
I think Elisa loses a flour bag.
Oh, a flour
I think,
bag.
yes, try for 30 days and see how you feel, she said.
I'm going
Elisa,
for
don't
it.
use a
Yeah.
flour bag or some type of bag because she doesn't have a juicer either.
Okay, so use a I'm going for it because
nut bag, a nut bag.
Oh, a nut. Oh, where do I get that?
I have no idea what that
Elisa,
is.
message me. I need that.
Totally lost.
So the celery,
Conversation.
there's a lot of benefits of the celery juice. True
No,
benefits.
I really feel the benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Are
not
you
gonna talk
off the-
about all, but I feel like my stomach bloating is down. My skin does look more
Are you off
clear.
the coffee?
I don't even need the coffee, but I know I'm not
Oh,
off it because
okay.
I really love it.
Love the
But I took
coffee.
decaf today. It gives you so much more energy.
Yeah.
It
There's
really
a lot
does.
of you Google it. Yeah,
Mhm.
Danielle told me about it last week, and I was like,
Celery juice.
Celery juice.
No, really, I feel
And
And
you
that-
buy it already made.
No, you have to. You're really supposed to juice and drink it fresh. Elisa
Right.
puts it in a
you
refrigerator.
can do 2 days at a time.
Oh, wait,
Can I
That-
pay
no.
someone to do this for me?
Yes,
I'll-
you can.
I'll do it.
This is America.
But you know what? Celery runs out. I go and buy up all the celery, all the celery in the store.
Well, because you
What about
organic.
produce
because-
junction? Can you buy it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
I
there,
don't
but
know.
it's not
That
organic.
might be not organic. I wouldn't buy theirs. You might break out.
Well, I went to ShopRite. Well, I didn't go to ShopRite.
Hi, Carter, my baby.
Oh, hi, Carter.
Mwah, my
Hi.
favorite.
I thought you were at the carnival. Well, thanks. Thanks for joining us. But I just got it from ShopRite, and we just doused it with the apple cider vinegar to get all the pesticides, because celery is one of the most overly
Yes,
pesticide
it's
ridden.
one of the Darity 10 or something.
Yeah. So
What?
I
Yes.
mean, listen.
Mhm.
So what was really funny was that, unfortunately, Mark said to me, "You don't need any downtime. Where's your next book?" Because I was on all the sites
On all the
For
stuff.
your celery?
reading about
Good
celery.
job.
So anyway, which means it's
All right.
another task. For
I will
him.
read up. I mean, I
Yeah.
was told that there are maybe comparable benefits, maybe not to the same degree as with ginger and lemon water.
Yeah, that's good too. Ginger's
Great.
good.
Ginger's
Ginger and
good.
lemon, like you just
So
cut the
what you-
ginger up, you
Yeah.
squeeze the lemon in, and
Hot water, cold water.
Oh,
I
hot
keep it.
water's good. It tastes good.
I don't do it in hot water. I just put it in like a pitcher,
Okay.
and I keep it, and I just drink, and it does like anything that keeps you hydrated is gonna
Right.
have you be less
Right.
bloated.
But
Absolutely.
that
So-
is a anti-inflammatory to ginger.
Yes,
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 that's
which
pretty
is good for
good.
me. The
She didn't
joints.
tell us this though.
Well, she told me, but I already knew.
I
My
did
mom
not-
does ginger too. She did tell me
I
ginger and
didn't-
lemon,
Okay.
which was in addition because I don't do the lemon. But yeah, no, she told me.
I
And-
swear, I don't keep my
Okay.
tips secret.
Right,
Okay.
neither am I.
We gotta help each other. We gotta
That's
help
what I'm
each
telling
other
you.
out.
YouTube, the YouTube.
All right. So we've got some benefits going.
Yeah.
All right. So you what do you do with the ginger? You
I just use a spoon and I use it to scrape the stuff off the outside, and then I chop it up, and then I put it in the pitcher,
okay.
and I pour the water in, filtered
Mhm.
water, and then I squeeze the lemons in, and boom, it's so
Excellent.
refreshing.
Hydrating.
Yes.
Refreshing.
It's wonderful.
Okay, I'm on add it to the list.
Add it to, you
I'm
have to
ready.
take time for yourself to restore,
Exactly.
rejuvenate,
Right. Refresh.
all of those things. Refresh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We want to look good for you out there and live the book
Oh,
land.
yeah. YouTube
yes,
lands.
yes.
All right, so I guess are we ready to
I think we should.
dig in? We've got some viewers here.
Yes.
All right, so as you all know, we always start with that.
Oh, ELISA said I'm sorry,
Oh,
I interrupted,
no,
but
sure.
she said she drinks apple cider vinegar every night with lemon, similar to, I guess, what Daria does.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead, ELISA.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about that, ELISA.
Yeah, Lisa. Well, thank you for sharing, and now everybody knows. So the first question is, did you like the book? Where the Crawdads sing?
Okay, so
I'm gonna start with
I'm
Daria's-
concerned.
yeah.
Should I start?
Absolutely.
You just
Okay.
did, girl.
I mean, I will say I liked the book.
Yeah.
It took me some time, as you all. They told me it would take some
I
time to
knew
get
it
into
would,
this book. But I think what I started to appreciate about it, the role of the environment had so much played a bigger part in this book than other books that we've read. Like just, more of your senses got involved, I think, as she was describing just her environment and where she lived, where she was hiding out. I think there was a lot of mystery as well, which, I like the trying to predict where things are going to go. And that kind of ramped up the more you read. So yeah, I mean, I liked it. I didn't love it.
Understood.
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't love
fair.
And it was just because of the slower start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we did warn about.
Yes, you did. I was
We
prepared
did.
for that.
Did you read or listen to the book?
I read.
Okay, that might make a difference.
Really?
As well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you like the book, Danielle?
No, I didn't.
What?
Mm-mm.
You're
I
As you can tell from our promos.
Right, I did. I absolutely loved this book. You know why? Because before I read it, I remember Keisha and I went to New Orleans for like a weekend, like 2 nights. And we went on a swamp tour. And Keisha said, this reminds me of where the Crawdads sing. And I didn't read the book. But now I'm intrigued because, Keisha will do that. So now I'm like, oh, where the Crawdads sing. So every time.
Hey, Christina.
Oh, hi,
Christina.
So every time I read the book, I thought of that, like swamp tour and the alligators and then Kaia but then the mystery and I don't know. So and this is not a normal book that I would like read or pick up. And Keisha's books I generally do not like. If she loves it, I hate it. Like we're best friends but opposite. Like you and I are more similar with our books, But I really did love this. I love this book. I did. And Kaia, my baby's name, and her name is Catherine Danielle, where Kaia is Kaia Danielle.
Yeah.
So it was just those connections.
Good connections. I love the book. I love the scenery. I felt like I was, in flight, just hovering over the swamp and looking at little Kaia going into adulthood, and I just felt like I was there with her and with her throughout the story. So I loved it. I thought what we learned, we went to our friends book club last month in July. I know, where did we find the time? It was a Sunday evening and Danielle and I went, and the people who participated, they brought shells, they brought things that would be found in a swamp in North Carolina, very descriptive images. Yes. It was very cool.
It was nice.
In addition, one of the ladies, very, very much like a sage, talked about the author and how the author is actually
she was like a biological
person who was
something.
Very much into the wilderness, and she actually lives in a very remote place.
I did look that up.
This was her first book though. And so that to me was just quite impressive. She had shorter books, picture books. And so I just thought it was nice how she put it all together. So I did. So let's say
the cover of the book was like beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you guys like the book? I'm waiting to hear. I don't see Christina, ELISA, Alana. Did you like the book?
Yeah.
Did you like the book?
That is a good question to start with. It really is.
Yeah.
Like I have to lead a book discussion tomorrow. And I am going to start with that question. Yeah. We're going to be talking about it's a book called Weapons of Math Destruction. Yeah.
Interesting.
That sounds like
it's the book that all Penn incoming freshmen have to read.
Oh.
Yeah. So
is it about math?
We're so happy to be her friend.
No.
Weapons of Math.
Wow.
Very
Weapons
nice.
of Math Destruction. But is everyone saying
Alana says she enjoyed it?
Oh yay, Alana, good.
What did you enjoy about it, Alana?
Yeah.
Yes, Alana. I love Alana's insight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Alana, you
and Christina.
Oh yes, see, that's how I felt, Christina. Like
Yeah.
it was a surprise.
Yeah.
I did not think I would like this book.
Yeah.
You all mentioned it could be slow, but I will say I was into it pretty quick. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, did you listen to it or did you read it? I feel like I sound like Julie now. Hi, Julie. If you ever read it,
Yeah.
Julie would always say, "Did you read the book on Audible?
Or did you listen to it? Yeah.
And what did you think of the voice?
Yes.
Because it matters. It really does.
does matter.
Yeah. There's some very popular Audible narrators out there.
Alana says, I was a little bored in the first chapter,
Yeah.
but when I realized the next chapter jumped a few years with a murder, I started to overanalyze everything and figure out how it might play out. Oh, wow.
I like when books jump around like
Yeah.
that.
Christina,
And you have to figure out what happened in
Right.
the gaps between.
Yeah. I
Like,
know.
where
It made it
they're jumping.
exciting. It made it very exciting. What did Christina say?
Christina said, I listened. Very good, Christina.
Oh,
Me
Christina,
too. I
yeah.
think it makes it just jump faster.
Certainly makes my
Yes.
car rides better.
And Elisa says, so I didn't know what the book was until Monday. I know, Elisa.
Yeah.
So you know I didn't read it, but I will definitely be in for the next. Elisa, we apologize. So
In
to all of
advance.
you, we made a mistake. So thank you for telling us that feedback. We realized we forgot to post
We're-
our August video. We had a full video, and
Right.
Daria posted it 30 minutes before our book club.
Yeah.
So yes, we apologize. We apologize.
But we accept all feedback.
Yes.
So thank you.
So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
sorry. I still do hope you read it because we'll have a special book club for you if you read it to discuss it.
You know what? Maybe to this point, we shouldn't wait until all the way to the end to announce our books because some people might not watch all the way to the end.
Oh,
Maybe we can say something right now quickly
sure.
about our next two books. Would you like
Absolutely.
to say?
We just don't.
Sure.
So for September, we're going to be reading ELISA.
Right, so if you stop viewing,
Yeah, ELISA, if you go to bed, I
Yes.
understand. The Life We Bury by Alan Eskens is going to be our September book. We'll say it again at the end,
Yes.
but The Life We Bury, awesome read. And then we'll get the date out to you when we upload the video. So at least you know for September, start reading
Yes.
The Life We
The
Bury.
Life We Bury.
The Life
Alan
We
Eskens.
Bury. It's a short read, not
Yeah.
too long.
Short read,
Very
good
good
read.
book. You'll like it from the beginning.
What are we getting?
And is it our first book with a male?
Yes,
Narrator.
male
yes,
narrator.
male narrator.
All right. Hey, we're
Yeah.
branching out.
Hey, new
Branching
school
out.
year, new school year,
Right, trying to
1920
change it up
school
a
year.
little
We
bit.
gotta keep it fresh. Yeah.
You gotta keep it fresh.
Yeah.
All right, let's go
All
back
right,
to
back to the
Okay,
questions.
so let me start with this question.
Wait, I'm sorry. I just want to finish the
Oh,
comments
sure.
and then we'll go to the question.
Please.
Alana says she's been doing more reading versus Audible. Good job, Alana.
Yeah.
Oh wait, she said Alana said our last book had a male narrator.
Did it? What book was that,
What
Alana? And then Alana, what book was that? And then Cassandra said,
oh,
Wife? Was that the wife?
The
The ex-wife? The wife?
Alana's
the
so
perfect
smart.
wife.
The perfect
Oh,
wife.
you're right.
"Good job, Alana."
Alana, you're right.
See, Keisha, we can't listen to you. We have to listen to Alana.
Alana. Alanta.
My lovely wife.
My lovely.
My lovely
my
wife.
lovely-
What did you call her?
I called it the perfect
The
wife.
perfect wife.
She was lovely. Good job, Alana.
Alana, clearly. we need
Yes.
you. Keep reading.
Cassandra said, I love the book. I listened to it and love the Cassandra Campbell's reading it. Oh, okay. Cassandra Campbell read it.
wow.
Oh, namesakes.
Nice.
Yes.
Twins.
Nice.
And Alana says, I love Kai and her relationship with the swamp. Me too.
Yeah.
And Elisa
So-
listens. Yes.
So
Okay.
the question is discuss the series of events that led to Kaia living alone in the marsh. Who failed her and who was there for her?
Mm.
And were there better choices that could have been made?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
You know,
Everybody left her. Everyone left her.
Her, all her siblings, her
Everyone.
mother.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if the mother leaves, that's
That's
everything's
big.
gonna fall apart.
Your whole life
Yeah.
changes if your
Yeah.
mother leaves you.
You don't have like a
It's your mother.
grounding.
They're not really supposed to leave
And
you.
I shouldn't say that because people can be raised by a father. However, this father
Yeah.
was not an anchor.
Mm-mm.
He was much more destabilizing than anything else.
And the poor mother, though, the mental capacity, I think
Yes.
her own issues, the abuse, the mental abuse. And
Mm-hmm.
she was, I think, without a diagnosis, it sounded like she was bipolar and had severe depression.
She did. She
Yeah.
couldn't help but leave her.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but everybody left Kaya.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was really, really bad.
Alana says everybody failed her except Jumpin' and Mabel, but I don't think who was her husband at the end? What was his name? Not Chase.
Tate.
Tate.
Yeah.
Tate came back, Alana. So in the
Yeah.
end, he didn't fail her.
Tate was
What's some of
definitely
your
there for
thoughts?
her.
But he kind of did.
He failed her
He went to
initially.
college.
young.
He was like, at that point, did he have other options? You know what I mean?
No, but he went to college. Everybody
Yeah,
should break up in
educate
college.
I know, but when he came back, he was like, he knew that they weren't compatible.
I think he thought he had a lot on his plate.
When he first came back from college.
Yeah,
But they married and lived together.
Eventually.
but there was a break. There was
It
a
wasn't
pause.
their time. It's not that he failed her. It just wasn't their time.
Yeah.
No, there's a time and a
Romantic.
place. Really, there's a
Romantic.
time and a place.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
college
Yes.
isn't really the time for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's college. You don't
It
even know who
is.
you are at that
Right.
time. So
Yeah.
I don't blame him for that. Other people chime in. Do you blame him? I mean, I would feel
I think
bad
he
for
had to
Kaia,
mature.
but
I
he
think
had to
Tate
mature,
went
yes.
through a lot of development, and I think he realized that being with Kaia, there was a risk and reward. I think that's really,
Yes.
and he might not have been mature enough at 22 to make that
No,
decision.
He's still a baby.
He's still developing. We know about the male brain. I mean, we already know about that biologically speaking. So that would have been a hard decision. And she was an outcast without any other word to call it. She was.
Yes.
They called her the Marsh Girl, and that was awful.
Yeah.
That was really awful, and we'll get to that. But I just think that, Tate didn't fail her, but in the beginning, in her developmental years, Mabel and Jumpin seem to be the ones who really.
So Lana's right with that.
Yeah.
Now Lana weighed in. You know, she always has very good analysis.
Yeah.
Alana said he also had trauma and didn't recover from his own childhood.
Tate.
I don't remember that. Alana, remind me of that.
Yeah.
But Tate was a trigger for her connecting to the ways of a female lightning bug. Wow. I don't blame him for leaving, Alana says. I blame him for how he did it. And Cassandra said, I don't blame him for leaving either. Right. He was a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way he
Christina
did it,
said-
Alana.
Oh, yeah.
Christina said,
I
I don't blame him
I
either.
was never saying that he was wrong for doing what he did. I guess my point was he just, when he came back, he could have handled that whole thing differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he could have been. He wasn't a man, really.
No, 'cause
he
he's
wasn't
22.
courageous
Right.
enough.
Right.
He wasn't.
To really tell her what was really going on.
Yeah.
So he kind of just let it go.
Let it go.
But at 22, he was really like a female 12-year-old. You know, like men don't mature the same way. So it's just.
She put a number on it, Daria.
Yeah, but think about 22. Like, you don't tell nobody why you're leaving. You
No,
just
you just
out.
go.
You just go.
And it was
When you're
hurtful.
older, you might
It's
have
so
a
hurtful.
conversation. You might sip for coffee.
If you're, maybe.
When you're
maybe if
22
you're older and you can voice your feelings and emotions
Right.
without running for the hill.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's fair.
When
Yeah.
you're 22, you're out.
And that's not just men.
No.
No,
Same way.
women could too. I just said
They
men
could.
mature later.
They do.
So when we
I
say-
digress.
I agree though. that-
I understand.
Yes.
So when we see a 22-year-old, true. When we see a 22-year-old male,
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's probably like 17,
Yeah.
I said 12, but you're right, females run too. 'Cause
Oh yeah.
if you're hurt
Put your
as
sneakers
a
on.
child, you don't, everybody runs away from you. You learn not to
Yeah.
communicate. You just run yourself.
You just
Right.
do. Yeah.
Agreed.
Or you do passive aggressive things.
Yes.
Correct.
Everything always goes back to childhood.
And/or self-development.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what's this? So Tate was well aware of Kaia's trauma, made a conscious choice to pile on
Mm.
by leaving without saying anything. He was aware of what he was doing and how it would hurt her.
Mm. However, I think he loved her, obviously, because he came back. And sometimes when you love someone,
And I
it's
think there
hard to
was
have that
fear.
conversation.
Yeah, but
I mean, there was
I'm
some
just wondering
fear.
why did he come back?
I think
he
he loved
loved
her.
her.
I think he loved her.
Or was it because he thought that she was in,
Available?
that someone else wanted her?
Either way, he loved
What
her.
brought her? You know what I mean? Like what
Well,
brought him back?
I wonder
Anything.
if he. Well,
he loved her.
maybe
He
he's-
taught her to read.
but maybe he saw the
That
new
was kind
guys.
of unrealistic. That
Maybe-
whole thing was kind of unrealistic.
However, that's the story that
I mean,
that the lady
When
knows.
teaching her to read, no, but I think
Yeah.
I think he thought maybe she could have been in danger, that people could have been hurting her, that she couldn't protect herself. I think there are a lot of reasons, but then you become, weary and concerned. Am I going to be everything that she needs?
Well,
and can I?
Yeah, that's
be?
a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, that's
for
what
a
I'm thinking.
22-year-old.
It is. Okay, all right.
But you know what I also feel? And this is,
We can leave this one here.
no, we don't have to leave it here. It's good to have a different
Yeah.
dialogue. But I also believe, and this is a horrible thing, like if you leave
no.
without closure, you could always come back. You could always, if you leave without closure,
Interesting.
you could always come back.
But how do you define closure?
Closure is I'm breaking up with you because X, Y, and Z. This is why. This is what you should have done differently. And this is how I'll be moving on. Do not call me. Do not contact me. I'm going to forget your
But
name.
if you don't, then
That's
the door is
called
open.
closure. That's closure.
That's extreme.
No, it's not. That's closure. That's how closure should look. That's how. Don't call me. Don't contact me. I won't forget your name.
That is a lot.
That's.
I know.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's how I do closure. Apologies. That's how I do closure.
That's
Don't-
dead to me.
Don't call me, don't contact me. I don't know your name.
Well, let's not do that with Danielle. That's
No,
how
I'm
the
just
closure
saying.
works.
Now, okay, I agree with my sister on this. She says you can have closure without the other person's involvement. That is very true.
Okay, you could. However, but if you don't
What if
have,
a person dies?
but listen, if you
What if
don't,
a person dies?
but if you don't have closure and you put it
How are you
down,
gonna get closure
listen,
when they're
no,
dead?
all I'm saying is that's fine if you don't have closure. I'm okay with not having
But you
closure.
can come back,
But if you don't have closure, you can come back.
which is what Tate did.
That's all I'm saying.
Which is what Tate
You can
did.
either choose to have closure, which means I'm slamming this door forever.
Right.
Yeah,
or-
but even if you try to have closure, somebody can still.
No, that's not the point. But
No.
no, not the way I do
No.
closure. But whatever.
But
We're not going to discuss
but
that.
with
Y'all
Tate-
think that's extreme.
But
But my point
that is
is,
extreme, Danielle.
but that's
You
called
just
closure.
said.
That's called
You just said
closure.
different opinions are.
It is.
are
But you're
valid.
trying to tell. I know my closure is closure.
And
That's
I'm
all
saying,
Yeah.
I'm saying there are other ways to do it.
There are. But my way is books. Like I could write a book about closure. But we're not. That's not the discussion tonight.
Closing the door.
All I'm saying is
Next
okay,
bestseller,
all I'm
Danielle
saying is,
Ferguson.
all I'm saying is,
All I'm saying.
for me, if I want the door open, if I want to come back later, 5 years, 10 years, if I want to pick it up later, I'm not going to do closure.
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
just going to slowly put it down and walk away.
Which is what Tate did.
I'm going to be confusing. I'm going to be in and
And
out.
Tate was, because Tate would come and
Oh,
check.
so
Yes.
you're saying he purposefully did that so he could leave the door open?
Right, that's what
Yes,
Danielle
that's-
said.
And that's foul.
Yeah.
If that's really
It's
what
not
he was
foul.
doing.
It's really not.
I think he was
He's
confused.
22.
Yeah, but even before then, he would come intermittently
I
to
respect
see
his
her.
game. I respect it.
But he would come
Oh my
intermittently.
God.
He didn't know what he wanted to do.
What I respect is that he buried the evidence at the end. That's what I respect.
That's my point. He loved that woman.
Yeah, he
but
loved
that's
her.
when I finally was like, okay, I can give it to
So
him.
you didn't like Tate.
It's that long.
No.
Guess what?
real.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
real.
that's
It
real.
is.
I just felt like it was intermittent, the visits, because I was thinking he wasn't sure what kind of life he wanted to live. And so sometimes you don't have that answer up front until you feel like you're going
Right.
to lose something. That's what I felt with Tate. He just wasn't sure. Do I want to live in the swamp?
Christina said, "Boy, bye." Exactly.
Right.
Boy, bye.
Right.
I get it, but Tate wasn't a boy, bye.
Yeah, no. So,
He
so
just had to go to college.
So, how do you think Kaia's observations of nature influence her understanding of the world? And then think about her decisions when how they were influenced by things she saw in nature. So that's why, the beginning, there was so much, conversation and text about the, place where she lived.
The praying mantis.
But think about that. Like, what did that do to influence her understanding of the world?
I think that was her lens. I think she viewed everything through that, that lens. I think, it shaped how she interacted with people,
Yeah.
what she appreciated, like what she had respect for or didn't have respect for. I think it had just influenced so much about how she went through her life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
and I think that's why she had to spend time at the beginning, like setting all that up. So we
Yeah.
understood how she was wired.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we get our cues and from adult interaction, human interaction, and she had
did not
so
have that.
little,
Correct.
She did.
which I just thought was incredible. Like, I mean, just so as human beings, we can observe nature and then figure out what it is that we're going to do or not do,
Mm-hmm.
and how we're going to treat the opposite gender, or I mean, all of that,
Right.
or what a family was.
You know what this is making me think about? So I just learned about this very extreme form of veganism, or not vegan, vegetarianism, called Jain vegetarianism. Have you heard of this?
No.
So it's an Indian form of vegetarianism where they will not, anything that can feel pain, including insects, they do not want harmed. So that means they won't drink anything that's been fermented, because there's microorganisms that help to do the fermentation. They won't eat anything that has grown under the ground, because the harvesting of those things from the ground, I mean, it's extreme.
It is.
Could disturb,
It
the plant life, the fauna, the insects. So it actually learning about that made me think about her.
Really?
To
Wow.
an extent, because it's like, that's how, like, if you grow up around all that, you have that much respect for nature. It can drive a lot about how you act, how you behave.
And your habits and behaviors,
Yeah.
absolutely, and the
Yeah.
choices you make.
And what you
Absolutely.
prioritize.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so thinking about where she grew up and all of this, I mean, what do you think about that whole idea about school?
Alana said the march didn't inform her understanding of the world. It was her world.
Right.
I mean, it can be both, Alana.
Well, no, I think it was her world. I mean, because that's
what I'm saying. It
The
could be
school
both.
question, like, what would you think you need school for when you're living in that environment? What
She needed, like, a pro.
value, what place would it have? I felt like
What? I'm sorry. What are you saying?
so
It's not a
thinking
real
about
question. I think you're just saying in general.
like her, was her world the whole idea about Kaia going to school after having that kind of idea of
didn't she go for like one day?
she went for one day. She did, and she decided it wasn't for her. But living in that
But the way
environment,
they treated her that day, like
yeah, it was pretty terrible.
That
and
was-
the whole idea is that do we need that kind of formal education? Is my question that makes me think about having that kind of education versus what she experienced in the marsh. Is there one better? Is one better than the other?
I mean, there are societal norms. There are. I mean, she couldn't be accepted. She was teased. She was taunted. Like, she couldn't be accepted. You can't operate so far outside of the realm of like societal norms.
Was she off the grid? Do you think she was like
reclusive, like just unkempt, just barefoot,
right.
She was not normal.
So, and like, what does our society do about that? Like, what does our society say about that?
I think our society does exactly what this book did, which made me sad about marsh people, having tree marsh people, like things that we do now with our society. We feel like people are less than
like rural people who live in like a rural
community, or what we're doing to people that are coming in illegally. It just makes you think a lot about how are we treating people, like they're people.
Human kindness. Yes. I don't know what we're. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, what could her life have been different if she stayed in school? That's part of this question. I mean, could it have been different?
I think it would have actually made her not as open to her poems and not see the. Sometimes school, unfortunately, does restrict us to like how conformity, like how we think this is what you should do, this is how you should act, this is. So I don't know if Kai would have been the famous poet and
or artist or
illustrator, right? Like it may have restricted her a lot,
right?
I think Kai,
the creativity,
They say that sometimes when you start formal education, you are so much more creative and innovative than at the end.
Well, think about when you go to school, you have to sit down, you have to sit in rows, you have to be quiet, you have to raise your hand and speak. Like you can't just formulate your thought. You have to do English when they say we're doing English, and then we move on to math. We can't just do it all together.
Well, you know what? So this is making me think of something else. So there was an article I read about how it was called Trump's Lust for Punishment, and basically saying that anybody who is different is punished. And so essentially that was her. I mean, she was
definitely different.
Right? I mean, on so many levels. And so would that change if she was in school? Maybe that she would have just been punished even more.
She would have been.
Right? I mean, for being different and not fitting into the mold.
Or sometimes what they say is like there's that one person or two people in a group in a situation where if you, even on your worst day, that person's always going to be less than you.
Right.
And then the people pile on to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what that made me think of. And I think for me, what was so upsetting is that, there was like that whole religious figure who saw her in town at the grocery store and pulled her daughter away from her, like she was, tainted and poisoned.
Right.
And that part, in terms of humanity and what we are supposed to learn, and, obviously not blending church and state, but just saying, what is it that person's supposed to show that's different than other people when they are part of this doctrine? And so that part was really concerning. And I think for the author, really showing around our flaws in society.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
I mean, it did make me think of a lot of the, just the ways people are mistreated and misunderstood.
Yeah.
I want to read some of our comments.
Yeah.
Alana says, Kaia behaved like the animals in the marsh. She behaved like a prey.
Like she was being hunted.
Yes. And she
knew how to hide.
And she was being hunted.
Yes.
And Christina said, if you're living off the land like Kaia did, that's all she knew. Agreed.
Yeah.
And Alana said she didn't have support to encourage her to stay. She didn't feel welcome, so the pain she suffered far outweighed the benefits of going, so she didn't go back. I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She wanted the food, but the way they treated her, she's
Oh my
like,
gosh, yeah.
and then Alana says, we treat them as others and blame them for circumstances beyond their control and judge them for not being the same.
Right.
And Cassandra says, prejudice against people who don't fit the norms of
Exactly.
society.
Facts.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And Christina says, she would still have had the trauma she had, though.
Yeah.
Education or not, the neglect and desertion. Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
But maybe a teacher could have adopted her.
Yeah,
or-
someone could.
But
take her
agreed,
in.
she saw the trauma. And
Yeah.
blood is definitely thicker than water. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, you want your mom or you want your dad.
You want your kin, and they left her. She was completely abandoned.
Mhm. Right.
So think about the poetry in the book and how it's used. What does poetry mean to Tate and to Kaia?
I don't know. What does it mean?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question.
I know. What does it mean?
I mean, you didn't know at first. Like, when did you? I mean, you didn't really know until towards the end that.
There was
Although you kind of suspected.
yeah,
That there was like, where else would it be coming from?
Right.
You know? So I mean, what was the question?
no, just how is poetry used in the book, and how does poetry and what does the poetry mean to Kaia and Tate?
What does it mean, Keisha?
Well,
I'm struggling with that.
I know.
question.
well, no. I mean, yeah.
English teacher, what does
Go
it
to
mean?
the audience, live
Or
audience.
Alana, jump in for
Alana
sure.
or Keisha.
But for me, the poetry symbolizes just sometimes our discord and then our reunification and our reuniting. So for me, the poetry was difficult. It was challenging. I didn't really understand all of it because it was like obviously very heavy with nature. But I think it was
Well,
also
that was the clue
yeah,
of whose it was.
sure.
Right.
But just some of the
Yeah.
challenges in nature and what happens in nature, and then when people separate and they come back together. So I just thought that to me
Really?
was really kind of like their story.
So that's
of their
interesting.
story.
Yeah, I agree to an extent because even like when you could see her in isolation, but also there was like this element of hope also woven through it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I guess there is this balance between like pessimism, optimism,
Yeah.
despair, and hope.
Yeah.
So it does.
Kaia was
it did help to
was-
kind of bring that up.
She was very optimistic
Yeah.
for someone who had or lived in such despair.
Exactly.
She was so optimistic.
Mhm.
You know, you think about the time when she puts her mom's old clothes on, she puts on her old makeup. And this was, of course, she was interested in wooing and being interested in Chase, but she was optimistic that she could be a normal, whatever normal means to us,
Right.
girl.
Yeah.
You know, that was really very telling about what humans want.
Yeah,
You wanted-
exactly. And have more a connection with something more than just the marsh.
The Marsh. She wanted to connect. She wanted to be
Yeah.
loved. She wanted to be celebrated and appreciated.
I think Jumpin' and Mabel gave her that a little
They
bit.
did
You
give
know,
her
like,
hope
they
and
probably give her
connection.
hope. They
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
You know, and they're
And
like
something she could trust.
right, exactly.
Absolutely.
So because
Yeah.
somebody can be kind to her, that gives her hope for the
that
world.
other people can be.
Yeah, sometimes
Well,
you
and
just
like
have one
for
person.
survival also.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that to me was really telling, and I just think it was really pretty aesthetically. The poetry just to match the marsh,
Mhm.
the beauty of the marsh. I think that to me was like kind of like the parallel there. What did
There's a
Alana
question
say?
here, Alana. They knew what it meant to be an other.
Mm.
It seemed to allow Kai to make sense of her reality and allow her to process her feelings and transition to whatever came next. Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
But is the question 9? Do you see Kai as a victim? How did your opinion of her change over the course of the book? Like, I don't know that I see Kai as a victim. I see her as a survivor, like a fierce warrior to like, don't get in her way. Like, I don't see her. I mean, yes, everyone left her, but I don't like a victim lays on their back. They just take whatever comes her way. You know what I mean? They take whatever comes her way.
Well,
I don't see her as a
I think
victim.
we're gonna, as we pivot into the piece with Chase.
Mhm.
I think the victimization is couched in that. You know,
Really? You think that's the only part?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I see Kaia as a survivor, but I feel like she was a easy target
Mhm.
to pin Chase's death on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, and I think that's where she became a victim. For me, I felt like she was surviving. She was surviving.
Okay.
And when they believed that she was the one who did it,
Maybe because
and
she
they went
did.
to.
I know.
Well,
Maybe because she did.
Let's go back to before she went as she's arrested and all.
Yeah.
In that moment, it was easy for them to point to her because what were her defenses?
Well, but she was seen
Right.
at the scene of the crime.
Then
And
the day after she got murdered,
had
he didn't wear the necklace.
right, and then the hat.
Right, the red fibers.
So there were a lot of clues.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Well, for a long time, I mean, even
I don't
my
think she
first
was
read through,
I thought
it
she was
Tate.
unfairly. Oh,
You thought it was Tate that killed her?
My first,
I thought
my
it was
first,
jumping.
my first read.
I thought it
through,
was her.
I thought it was Tate.
I thought it was jumping.
No, I
Wow.
thought it was.
I
her.
never thought it was Kaia until the end of the book.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh well, that must have been exciting.
It was.
Yeah.
I was like,
for Danielle right now.
I'm like-
Yeah.
Kaia did it.
I thought it was Tate the whole time protecting Kaia.
Wow.
Yes.
Cassandra said the book displayed Kaia with female empowerment, strong-willed and independent. Yes, that's why I liked her.
Yeah.
And Christina said she showed perseverance and did what she needed to survive. Exactly. And Christina said most survivors start off as victims. Agreed. I feel like being a victim is a choice. You choose to be a victim. You do. Things happen to you.
You might choose to stay a victim.
Again, that's a choice.
That's Detroit. Yeah.
To-
Yeah,
stay-
yeah.
right,
I mean,
to
I
stay a
think some
victim.
people don't have a choice at the beginning
Yeah.
when they are victimized. It might be like a child. You're like they're defenseless.
But
They-
you're right.
Yeah.
but to stay in that victim mentality is
Exactly.
a choice. I agree.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's interesting. I mean,
A lot says disagree, but you don't choose to be a victim. I agree with Daria. Like you're an initial victim. However, what you do with your victimization
Right.
is a
yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I mean,
And there's even some people who let themselves be victimized through
Multiple
other
times.
people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Through other
sure.
people. Like
Oh,
it's
sure.
vicarious traumatization.
Because it's what they're used to.
It's what they're used
Oh, yeah.
to. They don't know any
Yeah.
other.
And they don't even
language.
know how to get out of being a victim.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
feel more pain over what somebody else is dealing with than that
Mhm.
person feels themselves.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
And that's a huge. I mean, that's the psychology behind that.
Oh,
is-
yeah.
Whoa, right. I guess for me, ultimately, I'm so glad that Mabel and Jumpin existed. They gave her some encouragement, some hope about humanity. I'm disappointed in the people, the townspeople, and I'm disappointed in Chase and his representation of all that is, I think, totally Keisha, what is wrong with society around affluence, entitlement,
yeah.
elitism, all these things that when you have the capability and connections and power, like help somebody, but no, you looked at Kaia as a conquest, and I just feel like it's
Normal.
just the lowest level.
But it's
of,
normal.
The
That's
lowest level of human behavior.
however it's normal.
Agreed.
Unfortunately,
Agreed. It's
Yeah.
when you can have
disappointing.
everything, why not have her?
Even at the highest levels of government.
Not that we're talking about government, but I
I'm gonna
just
drink
feel
to that.
I need some water for that one. I just feel like it was just terrible.
I feel like it's just normal. I don't know that bothered me.
It-
Like Chase could have whatever he wanted. He could do whatever he wanted.
So he wanted the Marsh Girl,
That happens regularly now.
a conquest.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
and it was like I felt like he was keeping her like a concubine because it was a secret. He didn't tell anybody, but he kept that necklace as like a
Trophy.
yes.
Yeah.
Because she was like the
And
wild
wore
beast.
it
that he-
all the time.
Right, she was like the
And
wild,
why do you think she wanted it?
the wild
Why do you
beast.
want it
I wanted it back too. I want that necklace back and be like,
Right.
you know what?
Yeah.
I made this out of love, respect.
But the wild beast that he thought he tamed.
Mm.
I mean, it's really all back to animalistic. It really goes back to nature. It goes
Mhm.
back to the swamp.
Oh, that's deep.
That's
deep.
it's all what it is.
Yeah. Primitive.
It is primitive.
Yeah.
Everything
I was
is
just
primitive.
disappointed in him.
But
Well, but that also makes Keisha's point is that it is this primitive behavior
Mhm.
that is what brings us backwards in society. Like, aren't we further ahead than this?
Are we not more evolved?
Exactly.
No.
Are we not?
But
we
you're
are not.
saying, no, we're not. Well,
we're not.
you do see it cropping up
Absolutely.
all the time.
We have
Like,
better
it's more-
masks. We have better ways of hiding it, better ways of making it look like it isn't what it is. But no, it all is primitive.
Yeah.
What are they saying? What
Okay,
are our friends saying?
Then I have
out
a
there?
question. Okay. Alana says, but you don't choose to be a victim. We went there. There's a difference between being a victim and having a victim mentality. Agreed. And the rape culture that is prevalent in our society. Agreed, Alana. Agreed.
Yeah.
He behaved like a lot of people who don't have an opportunity or don't choose to leave their home. The jocks that are celebrated in youth. They often have the maturity stunted and stay caught up in the same foolishness from their youth. Yes. He tormented her and did this stuff since childhood.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Christina says, yes, Alana.
Yeah. Alana, you need to do book reviews. You need to write book reviews.
But as they are parallel to our society, because I think Alana, you spot on. I mean, I know that when authors are writing, they're writing about things that touch their heart, that they want to present out into society. And I think the reason why this book, I mean, I understand, like, it wasn't your top 10 and maybe not your top 10 or mine, but I think when books become very popular, I always think about why they are. And it's something about our society and the things that we're going through at that time that make people say, oh my gosh,
I want to
can
discuss this book. Yeah. Or I can see myself.
Let's
or
dig
us
in.
this.
Let's unpack this. And I can see where we are as a society.
I think sadly for me, what made me love the book is that, like, Kaia killed Chase. I was excited that Kaia killed Chase.
That's what I said.
And got
I
away
said,
with it.
oh, that must have been exciting.
That's my point.
When you got to the end,
I was like, oh my God, Kaia killed Chase.
Like, and I kind of expected that she did.
And
that's why I was like,
why did you expect?
Because Daria would have killed him, right?
Well, we
I think some of us
we don't know that. We don't know that. No.
I would have killed him if I could. I don't think killing him was a bad thing. It was almost like, you go, girl. Like, for me.
Or
like,
in
well,
nature.
but I saw her that way. I saw her as that she was going to survive. She's going to. Like,
she's a survivor.
She's going to make the most out of whatever situation. She's gonna get. I don't know.
Like she needed to kill him to survive.
I think
it was a need.
Remember in our last conversation, the whole conversation with the group of ladies we were talking with, they said that Chase was not someone who was going to let someone best him or get over him or win or beat him or not. He was not going to take what he wanted. And I thought, my gosh, in our society, is that what it is? It takes like you saying no and meaning it and a finality to it, because someone like Chase can't take no.
Right.
Or stop.
Yeah.
Right. You have to kill him. He would rape her over and over and over.
Why does it have to be like that in our society?
Because you can't take what's not yours. Don't come at me and I won't kill you.
That's our country was founded on that.
Right?
Taking what's not yours.
Right.
Very interesting.
So
we'll have
So Christina says yes. Alana's side has LOL. And then Christina said, me too. As sad as it sounds, I was like, go Kaia. Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if in reality I'm like, go ahead, Daria, kill Chase, or go Keisha, we're gonna kill.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she's by herself. She's out there by herself. Like, what else is she gonna do?
So let me ask you this. What do you think about her brother coming back and restoring his relationship with Kaia? What do we think about that family connection and the mom and the picture that she painted, and we get a little bit more about the mom's mental capacity? What are your thoughts about those family reconnections?
I think it's
Oh, go ahead.
Well,
I think it's beautiful.
I have a different opinion.
I think it's beautiful. Like, everybody makes mistakes, So if you come back and you right your wrong, and what I did 5 years ago may not be what I'll do today, and we have to live.
So forgiveness, because she did forgive her brother.
I would forgive him too. He's a kid.
Yeah,
like,
he was surviving.
He had to survive too.
Yeah.
And what's the harm in restoring what was like lost? It doesn't have to be the same.
No.
But
that's what I was thinking. Like, it will never be the same. After you have that kind of separation, that kind of disconnect, I don't think you can ever go back to being what you were.
Do you trust him? Do you welcome him back with open arms?
I mean, with Maybe some reservations.
But sometimes you'll never be the same again. Like I've made like one of my family members, my mother, she doesn't even remember. We didn't speak for 3 months. I regret that today. I will never go 3 months without talking to my mother. So she could have this reservation and hold this something back, but she doesn't even remember, luckily. But at the end of the day, I learned from my mistake.
That might be a coping mechanism that she has put that out of her mind.
It probably hurt her because it hurt me, and I feel guilty about it. So I will never go 3 months without speaking to my mother again. So I feel like he may have learned from his mistake, and he will never let that happen. Like sometimes we really learn, and we will never let that happen again.
Right.
Well, it could have been because his mother passed. Yeah. And he's thinking, like, I don't want to let another family member die before I try to reconcile this situation.
And what exactly was it? Am I fearing to reconnect or rejection or, I don't know what.
So ELISA, she randomly comes up with, I would like to know what each of your top 3 books are. And Alana goes, good question, ELISA.
Oh.
Yes. So... That's something to think
top
about.
3 that we've read
together,
or top 3
of all time.
Of all time?
That's a difficult one.
My top book of all, I know my top book of all time, and nobody else here would want to read this book, but I'll tell you, it's called The Medici Effect. It's the best book I've ever read.
Medici Effect.
Medici Effect.
And what is that about?
It's about how everything in life is connected and how you can innovate by looking for how things interconnect. It's very interesting.
My favorite top 2 books, ELISA, is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and The Joy Luck Club.
I haven't read Joy Luck Club. I've read
Me neither.
Caged Bird Sings.
I really have no idea. At least I never thought about my top 3. Sorry for that, girl. I don't know.
It'll come to you like as soon as we're done. You'll be like, oh.
Yeah.
Like what has there been one that's like stuck with you where you just can't stop thinking about it for a long time after you read it?
And number 3, ELISA, think about it. Number 3, and Danielle hated this book.
Oh God.
The Little Fires Everywhere?
No.
I don't
know. But the Mulberries and the Mulvaneys. We are the stupid Mulvaneys.
We were the Mulvaneys.
That book.
Loved that book.
That title doesn't even sound.
It was deep. It was like one of Oprah's first books, but those 3 are my 3 to answer your question. Danielle will think about it.
Oh, I know my second. I know my number 2. My number 2 is An Unquiet Mind.
Interesting.
Yes, Unquiet Mind. It's excellent. I prefer nonfiction, I guess. These are the ones that like really those 2 books. It's like I could read them multiple times, and I don't read books more than once typically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What did Alana ask?
Okay. Jody was the only one who said goodbye. Alana says she also learned how to deal with the things based on things in Marsh, so she had to like them because she saw them survive. Jody was the only one who said goodbye. Christina says, I had so many mixed emotions about it. I kind of felt like it was a good thing, but wish it happened sooner. Oh, like she killed Chase probably. Yeah. So many things that Kai could have saved from. Elisa goes, I guess. Alana says,
at least you'll like this book.
I know. Elisa, read it.
Read it.
Even though we already told you who killed
It'll
Chase.
blow your mind.
Alana says, my favorite is the 5 people you meet in heaven. I'll have to read that.
Oh, wow.
Number 2 is On Beyond Zebra. I can't help it. I love the messages in Dr. Seuss. Oh, my. Okay.
A lot of people like
Alana
that.
says number 3 is tipping point. I don't know.
Number 3 is what?
The tipping point.
Oh, the tipping point. Yeah, Gladwell. Good. Yeah, I could read. I wasn't wow, but he's good. I mean,
he's a social science.
He's a social science. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I like
it's
to
good. I love people who can overcome, and the whole way that the family, one thing can destroy a family, can make you or break you, and I just think that those are telling. So,
you know, a book I did like, and I love the play, The Color Purple.
Oh,
I don't know if it's my all-time favorite. I really had to think about it.
The top 3, you're not sure, but The Color Purple is deep.
The Color Purple, like that play, the book, everything.
I agree.
Yes.
That's a pretty good one. So I love this book. We've gotten Danielle loves this book. Daria's okay with this book. So, what we love about this though is that we can take our opinions and go, all the way and everywhere with it. But for me, I mean, I can see why Where the Crawdads Sing again, I think for me, I just want to just emphasize and just put a button on or a point on the whole idea around our societal norms and expectations right now. That it is where I think we are as a society, where we're thinking about our primitive behavior and that nature versus nurture, and then what is acceptable and unacceptable in society. What has pushed this book and has maintained it, as you had mentioned in your infomercial, 21 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. There's a reason for that.
Well, and staying hopeful in the midst of despair.
Yes.
Despair and hope and staying the course. For me, the murder trial, we didn't delve deeply into that, but I think that was around the whole idea is this when society, the people, speak out and give this young lady a chance.
You know what I thought about? Multiple intelligence, right? Like, she might not go to school and be book smart, but that woman was smart. She knew where to hide her stuff, where to hide his necklace. She knew how to navigate the bus ride,
all of that,
and her boat, and
get back into the marsh, because she knew the swamp so well that she could do all of that navigation and outsmart the smartest attorneys.
Well, and maybe that was part of what the author wanted to show as well. Like, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Wait, Alana asked a question. How do you think the story would have been different if Kaia was black? Oh no, Christina said common sense times 10. If Kaia were black.
Kaia was black.
In the time that the book was written, unfortunately, Alana, I think the outcome
probably would have been convicted.
Yeah, the outcome would have been different.
Done.
Yeah.
And Chase would have just raped her.
And she
would not have been a fake relationship.
A published author.
No.
And it would have just been a rape in your mind, and I'm taking it, and she would have like 4 little Chase babies. It would have been what it was.
That's sad.
It is
sad,
but true.
Yeah. The dynamic.
Sally Hemings.
Well, and we maybe know that maybe she wasn't fertile, because she didn't have children with Tate.
Well, Tate and Chase probably weren't fertile.
Yeah. Well, I'm not blaming it on Kaia. I'm just thinking about her development, though. I mean, I think we do have to address some of the nutritional pieces.
Yeah, she ate a lot of those beans. Something.
So we don't know that, but I think in terms of her being an African American woman on trial for murder of a Caucasian man, I don't really think
over.
Yeah, there's really no good outcome for that.
No.
And we do have to address that in our society again, despair and hope. But we know that things are not all equal, and the location matters for sure. The time matters for sure. And I would love to say that maybe if it were 2019, it would be different. I think we're seeing that in society that may not truly be the case.
That's an understatement.
Well, we're on the YouTube.
Yes,
we're on the YouTube. So,
Right.
So I'll understate it.
Yes.
For you all to pick it up and state it.
With an exclamation.
All right, guys, it is 9%. We have to conclude.
So,
once again, recapping.
September. Listen, start reading. We'll get you the date that we're going to be on YouTube. The Life We Bury, Alan Eskens. All right, that's September. Do you want to know what's for October?
Oh, are we really trying to give them advance notice like that?
I believe we should, because ELISA, my friend ELISA, she needs a lot of notice. I love you, ELISA.
All right. So September, The Life We Bury, Alan Eskens. October, Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. Alana, remember Karin Slaughter? I think you like her. So that's October, Pretty Girls, Karin Slaughter.
ELISA says LOL, yes. See, girl, I got
excellent.
you.
So September and October, we pick the books. We're going to get you the dates so you can join us live. We understand. It's time for night time now. So listen, we'll see you soon. And don't forget, live the book. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care, everybody.
Make yourself a little red necklace.
We love you, Kaia.